All right, see, this is what you get for leaving me next week. I'm going to put your ass to work. What was the last thing you were trying to look up?
Twilight Zone.
Okay, all right. You want to look that up? I'll pause it real quick. All right, hang on. All right, and we're back. This is John.
Hey, it's Paul.
And it's What If Geeks. And because Paul's going to be gone next week. And last time we had a couple in the hole, I burned through them because we were traveling. So I'm just putting his ass to work now. So we're just going to bullshit about some stuff real quick. First thing, we've just been kind of like rolling through some trailers that we kind of both like. And kind of basically exposing each other to the trailers. Like, here, look at this. Last one, just because it's fresh in your memory.
Sounds weird. You and I are sitting in your garage exposing yourselves.
Oh, yeah, well, you know, I did some time for that. Yeah, so the last trailer that I just showed you was Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. It's a book series that I vaguely remember growing up with. When I was a kid, I read, like, every one of them I could get my hands on. But it was so long ago that I kind of like, once you show me the stories, I'm like, oh, yeah, I remember that. And the trailer popped a while ago and just, like, blew my mind. So I asked you if you knew about it, and you hadn't. So I showed you the trailer. So what did you think?
Yeah, it looks really good. Super scary, super intense, thriller type horror movie. More sort of cerebral scary than like, Jason, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
But it looks really well done. And I don't remember that book series growing up. It's not something I was familiar with.
I'll have to find them for you. Because that was like, I don't read as much as I used to, and that as much as I would like to. But those were some of the books that like I really, really got into. It was like that and the Choose Your Own Adventure.
Oh,
at that point.
It
was right at the same time, and they were just epic. It was just like little scary stories. It was like, oh shit, okay, just amazing stories. So, and it's directed by Guillermo del Toro. So he did Hellboy, the first two Hellboy movies, and Pan's Labyrinth, whatever. So it's going to be really good, I think, personally. So I'm really looking forward to that one. The next one I showed you, well, we'll just go with the one that I think may be an April Fool's joke. It's called The Dead Don't Die.
Yeah.
Because we all know how much I love zombies. This trailer dropped literally on April 1st. So I'm not naive, no matter what my wife says. But it dropped on April 1st, and I was like, oh, you better not be a joke. Because anytime you tell me zombies, I'm going to watch. And this trailer has Bill Murray and Adam Driver playing deputies in a town that start to get overrun by zombies. And it's those two, and you have
it's Chloe Sevigny.
Tilda Swinton is in it. It's just like, and that's what made me think that like someone got all their friends together, like big name friends, and made an April Fool's joke. So I have to go back online and see if there's some really, now that we're away from April Fools, see if there's any really good news on this thing. Yeah, because it looks funny.
It's a zombie movie that is a little bit funny, a little bit freaky. It's not comedy zombies like what's the movie with Simon Pegg?
Shaun of the Dead.
Yeah, it's not that.
It's close, but not quite.
Yeah.
It's like it's taking the zombie part seriously, but you still have like if you took me and you dealing with zombies, like
no one's super freaked out that there seems to be zombies.
Yeah,
like they're mildly concerned and they're like, oh, we should do something, but they're not like losing their minds.
It's not like nobody's ever seen a zombie before. They're like, no, it's zombies, and we're gonna what are we gonna do? All right, let's try to kill them. Yeah,
like after the attack, the sheriff and the deputies are like, well, it doesn't seem to be a wild animal. What do you think it is? And he immediately goes, no, I think it's zombies.
Yeah, it was great.
And there was no like, get out of here.
Yeah. They just kind of, well, okay, all right. So it looks like if it's real, and by the time we get together again, I'll have done my homework on it.
Okay, I'm gonna look.
Okay, you talk. Because they're never tired of hearing me talk. Let's get the guy with the list to start talking more. Great. Yeah, if it's real, I'm going to be all in on this thing on, like, opening night. But anything zombies is cool, and it does take that, like, that Shaun of the Dead kind of humor. It's, I guess we'll call it a zomcom. Instead of a rom-com. Right. There you go. It's a zomcom. It's funny. I think it's going to be real. I hope it's real. But now, after that, as you're looking that up, I'm going to move on to the other, because this should just be brief, because there's not much on this. We don't know, but they literally just dropped the trailer for the animated Addams Family reboot. Mm-hmm. And I asked you if you'd seen it, and you're like, no. This thing looks hilarious.
Yeah, it looks really good.
I mean, they definitely take a this contemporary look at the Addams Family. Mm-hmm. You know, they kind of bring the Addams Family to today. And
all right, so okay. Wikipedia says it's scheduled to be released June 14th, 2019.
Dead Don't Die.
Yes.
Okay.
There's a movie poster.
2019.
Yeah.
Holy shit. Okay.
There's a post. I mean, doesn't mean you. I mean, you can certainly fake a Wikipedia page and write on anything you want.
I've seen him do it. Yeah. Okay.
So take that for what it's worth. Wikipedia says it's real. I don't know what that means.
It's a 50-50 shot.
There's no more confirmation than we had 5 minutes ago.
Exactly, yeah. It's about as much of a shot as Noah catching a pass, and he did it this last game, so there you go. So, all right, so I'll do my homework on that one, and we'll talk about it. Maybe I'll jump on Instagram, because I never do that anymore, and we'll start talking about it. So the Addams Family, one of those things, like, I never watched the original TV show.
Really?
Did you?
Yeah.
Yeah? Oh, okay. See, that might be where, like, the couple of years difference kind of plays. I never watched it, but I did watch the Munsters, and back when I was a kid, I vaguely remember there being you watched the Munsters or the Addams Family or whatever. But looking back, I would have watched all of it. But
I watched
I just never did. So I missed out. I did watch the movies with Raul Julia, and I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, those were good.
They were a lot of fun. Mm-hmm. And Angelica Houston. Yeah, she's good. We can watch her all day. The new one now is animated, so you get a lot. Again, back what we were saying earlier with the Marvel What If series that's coming out. If you do animated, you kind of have more.
You can do more stuff.
Yeah, you have more leg room to kind of run around. So Addams Family is going to be animated. You can kind of run around with it, and you can already see it in the trailer. It looks funny. Mm-hmm. This little thing that it looks like they hit the characters right, you know. So we'll see, but it's a brief glimpse into what's going to come pretty soon.
And sort of exaggerated versions of each one, right? Like Morticia seems to be being made of spiders. Mm-hmm. Gomez is this little guy who loves to be tortured. Yeah. Fester is
just this fat guy.
Yeah.
He's literally like an exaggerated version of like the Christopher Lloyd character mm-hmm. from the movie, almost really. You don't see Lurch at all in no, you do. Yes,
you do. Yeah, he's playing piano with
Thing. Yeah, so you do. Never mind. You see all the characters. No, Cousin It. I don't. Really
I didn't see Cousin It.
Okay, can't wait for him now. Wednesday kind of steals the whole show. Yeah. Spoiler: if you haven't seen the trailer, stop this. Go watch the trailer and come back. But she's standing there with a friggin' red balloon, and which is what brings it into more mainstream media. She's standing there with a red balloon. So everything, mind you, everything in this cartoon looks like black and white kind of shit. And she's got this friggin' bright red balloon. And Morticia's like, "Where did you get that? What is that?" And she's like, "I'm not sure." And Morticia says, "Well, usually there's a murderous clown on the other end of that thing." And it was like, it just got us both. Yep. Like, that was perfect. Because as soon as I saw it in the trailer, I'm like, that's what your mind goes to right away. Yep. Like, oh shit, it. And then they made the joke, and they made it perfect. You know, it wasn't like too on the nose.
Yeah.
It was perfectly Addams Family. So yeah, it looks like it's going to be good. I hope it sticks around. All this kind of stuff, like whenever you show me something that's like kind of nostalgic to our past, even though I didn't watch the original show, I get a kick out of it, and I want to see it do well. So I'm hoping. I think it'll be all right.
Yeah, it looks good, and it looks like something you could take our kids to, right? We could take our kids to.
Yeah,
It doesn't look terrible.
Too serious, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, definitely. Well, yeah, especially when you think about the cartoons, some of them catch on YouTube nowadays.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it'll be good. All right, so the next one, you just watched it. I've seen a few things on it, so you only watched one thing. But tell me about Twilight Zone. What do you think?
Yeah, it looks great. It's going to be a series that is coming to the CBS All Access app, hosted by Jordan Peele. I'm not sure if it's going to, at least the opening is directed by Jordan Peele, or if he's going to direct some of them in the middle of these, every third one or something like that. But he is at least the host, the way that the original, was it Rod Steiger?
Rod Sterling?
Yeah, Sterling.
Close enough.
Was the host of the original Twilight Zone.
I read Peele is going to be the director.
Of all of them?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
How does he have time to do all that? Like, just making This Is Us and
I don't know.
No, Us.
Us. Us. Yeah.
This Is Us is
whoa,
completely
way
different.
Yeah. Us and Get Out.
Yeah.
Well, okay. Well, now we can get into that a little bit later. Depending on time, we may say this, but on that note, okay, how does he have time? You look at somebody like Dwayne Johnson or Kevin Hart.
Right.
These guys are always working, right? But I want to see what Twilight Zone has to offer. But a couple of things I read, because like I said, you only saw the one trailer, but I've kind of read a little bit into it because I like the old Twilight Zone, and I'm sure you did too. But as soon as I read it, I was ooh, and I started looking into it, and then a couple of things Peele said that on one hand, I really do want to see what it offers, but on the other hand, he said something about like, well, this series is gonna, and I don't want to misquote him, but he basically said this is going to bring to the forefront the conversations we need to have.
Okay. Which
could be fine and also could be dangerous considering today's social views or whatever. Are you just doing one, like one side of your conversation, or what are you doing?
Yeah.
Because this is it's, I don't know. It's kind of vague. You got to look into it. So I'm going to see. I want to watch it. I'm totally into it, but I always like to be educated going into things.
Yeah.
So okay.
It makes me happy to see that because of some of the streaming stuff we have, and the way that Netflix is putting so much money into production of different things, and Hulu, and when the Disney streaming service comes up, and now CBS Access is going to have shows that are just on CBS Access.
Yeah, no shit.
We're getting so much better.
Which one of us has that?
I have that. I have CBS All Access.
Oh, okay, good.
That we're getting so much better television because of the streaming services, that we're not forced to sort of watch the same stuff they had always put on network TV for years and years and years, where none of it's interesting. It's all sort of derivative stuff.
Yeah.
And because of what started with HBO and some of those shows on HBO, even back like Sopranos and Boardwalk Empire and things even before any of the streaming services started, that sparked networks to have to make better shows.
Yeah.
So now when Netflix comes into it and Hulu comes into it and they're winning, you're looking at the Emmys, and more of the Emmy shows are Hulu and Netflix stuff and HBO, and the networks are losing out.
Yeah.
Even now the Oscars, right? Some of the Netflix movies and other stuff are being nominated for Oscars. That it makes people make better television, and that's just cool.
Yeah. Which, you know what? Side note, maybe one of us write this down. With all the new streaming services that are coming out, maybe the two of us look into what's available on each one and kind of pick and choose.
Yeah.
How to
Here's what to be into.
Yeah. Well, yeah, exactly. Kind of in our what are we into? What would we be into if we had access to all of it?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Something like that, because they all have something cool to offer. What's coming up in each one that we want to watch? You know.
Good. I'll start it with here's what I want to see made. If Netflix handed me a bunch of money and here you can make something, I'm remaking Battle of the Planets.
Well, there you go. Okay, yeah, let's combine it. All right. So when you come back, we'll do an episode on the main streaming services that we know about that are coming out.
Yeah. What
they're offering and what we're interested in, and then if we had a blank check, what we would make, and we'll just kind of run from there. Okay. I think that'd be a lot of fun. Yeah, because Battle of the Planets, and maybe we can fix that clusterfuck. So you got Twilight Zone. It looks really cool, and it looks like it's got a few nods to some of the older episodes, like the old William Shatner one, the Terror at 30,000 feet or whatever, with the gremlin on the plane.
Mm-hmm.
There's a nod to that in there. They've said in their ads for it, or in their interviews for it, that while he doesn't want to pull right from the original, you're going to see touches to the original. So you might have a callback to either that gremlin or something that happened there, or whatever, you know, or you'll have something. There was the Talking Tina episode, the doll. Remember that one? Then that's not in any of their writing. I'm just imagining. You might have, you might see her somewhere or whatever, but you're going to see nods to
Easter
the
eggs.
Original. Yeah, you'll have those Easter eggs in there. So I'm looking forward to it. Like I said, again, and that just goes back to my fear of anyone trying to shove their message down my throat. You know, I never like that. So when he said that, I was like, wait, what are you trying to do? You know, because I get it. Okay, yeah, there's some stuff that, you know, quote unquote, we need to talk about. But you know what? There are some conversations that have just been beaten the hell over.
Yeah.
But
if you make it well,
not rationally though.
If you make it well, I'm thinking of, you know, the Twilight Zone episode where everyone has a pig face.
Yes.
Except for one guy, and so they think he's ugly.
It was a woman. Yes, she was trying to get plastic surgery.
Yeah.
And then it turns out she kept trying to get reconstructive surgery to fix herself.
Right.
And it turns out that she is, by what our standards are or were, beautiful.
But everyone else has a pig face.
Yeah.
So they think she's ugly.
She doesn't fit in. And she thinks she's ugly. Yeah. And they're trying to say, it's okay. But no, she thinks she's ugly. So so there are, and Twilight Zone did do that. It did speak to those things.
Right.
But again.
So you can do it like that and have those conversations in a way that is not so.
Right, and that was my only fear going into it, is when you're advertising the show, and the first thing you say is, "Well, we can use this to have these conversations." You know, because you have these creators that are overzealous in their intent to beat the hell out of you with their message. So.
Yeah.
But so far, and again, not having really thoroughly paid attention to everything he's made, even though he's acclaimed, I have to sit down and watch them. I just haven't had time. I don't think he's really beaten the hell out of anybody with a message. So I'm really looking forward to it. That's me. I go into it with my guard up like I do everything else, but we'll see. I think it'll be good. So let me see. Where are we? All right. I'm going to jump up to the last thing we were talking about was, and you rewatched the trailer for the Joker, and then kind of because we were talking about DCEU, and we just talked about Shazam, so we started getting into that.
Yeah.
And then you rewatched the Joker. Side note to all of that before you start talking, the fact that they used the music "Smile."
Yeah.
Yeah, that was great. But okay, go ahead.
Yeah,
tell me what you think.
I think it looks amazing. I thought I heard on either Collider Heroes or something else an interview that this was not the definitive Joker that we know from comics, that has never been given the official sort of canon backstory,
Right.
and that this is not that. So much so that I thought this was not going to be in the quote unquote DC universe. So I didn't think this was going to be in Gotham City. So when you see the outside of Arkham State Hospital and you hear them say Gotham City, blah blah, like I didn't think that's where we were going with this. I still think it's not the quote unquote that we're making comic canon here, because they've never done the Joker full name backstory thing,
right?
And that this is not it. That said,
this is kind of like an Elseworlds, kind of.
But this
like
looks,
when Martha became the Joker in that one,
yeah. That this is this looks good. Like Joaquin Phoenix looks crazy enough to really pull this off, and it looks sort of mental enough to give a really creepy origin to the kind of perma-smile and things that the Joker has. Yeah.
All right. So to your point, Joaquin Phoenix doesn't look crazy enough to pull it off. Joaquin Phoenix is crazy enough to pull it off. All right. I mean, did you see any other stuff like when he did interviews for like "I'm Not Really Here" or whatever? Where like he was
With
so
the big beard and crazy. Yeah.
He was so in depth in those characters, right? Like he is borderline ready to like be the next Heath Ledger after the Joker. Like you got to be careful with this. He's there. Like he's good. I caveat all this, as I've been saying, I never needed a Joker origin story. He was just that character that you don't need it. It's there. The multiple origins that you got within the comics were even touched on in the Nolan stuff when Ledger, his Joker was like, oh, my father, and then my wife, and then this, whatever. He gave multiple reasons for why he was the way he was. And that was like a nice little, a very, very subtle nod to the comics where you never really knew where he came from. Right. And there were so many different origins. I don't want an origin for this dude. Caveat that with, like, when I text with my brother-in-law, he is all about this movie. He's dying for this. My sister's like, no, I don't want to see it. So she's like in my camp, right? Like, so me, I walked into this like, I don't need this. But again, like I've always said, I never root for something to fail. So, knowing I don't need this, I'm still going to root for it. All right, make something good.
Yeah.
When they dropped the trailer, because when I saw the first, we just had this conversation right before we recorded, the first little thing they did with the old school movie thing where he kept transforming from Arthur to Joker and back, like it kind of like got flashed, and you saw the makeup more and more. The makeup was like, oh, it's not quite what I'm picturing. But again, neither was Pennywise in the It remake.
Right.
He was nothing like what I thought I was going to see. And when I first saw Pennywise in the still shots, it turned me off. I knew what they were going for. Okay, he's the old Harlequin kind of clown. And I was like, I was too busy focused on the Tim Curry and because the books had incorporated that into their covers. That like you would see covers of Pennywise that looked like Tim Curry. So that was the only version that you thought of, right? So when you see the new Pennywise, Skarsgård, I was like, nah. And then the trailer came out, and I was like, wow, this is good. And then the movie came out, and I went to go see the movie, and while I love the series, faults and all, and I love Tim Curry, this movie blew that away for me.
Yeah.
Right? Completely blew that away to the point like where the end of this year, I'm going to die going to that theater going to watch that movie, right? Something very similar happened with this trailer, all right? I did not want a Joker origin. I didn't like the way he looked in the makeup, but then the trailer dropped. And like you, I said, you know what? If you look at all the Elseworld stories that I always say, I love these alternate stories, let me see what this is about. And that's how I looked at it with that eye. I was like, holy shit, this is really good.
Yeah.
And now they've got me. Again, I always admit my faults because, well, you know, I've got a wife that tells me all the time. But look, I walked into this going, I don't need this. And now I'm like, I kind of want to see this, and I want to see it make a lot of money.
Yeah.
Again, you know, it has, to me, it has nothing to do with what they're trying to do. You know, I hope and pray they actually make an entire DCEU universe like they were trying to do. I hope they kind of come back to that. This does not have to be that Joker. We'll get on that in a second. But this movie itself as an Elseworlds story, all right, you got my money now. And again, Joaquin Phoenix, yeah. Now, all right, dig into the trailer a little bit. This may be the creepiest Joker. You know, when he talks about his mother always trying to tell him he's got to smile all the time. Did you remember the scenes of like he's bathing his mother and dancing with her and how? I get it. He's taking care of her and whatever, right? But how creepy or how weird are you going to get with this? Because again, it's Joaquin Phoenix, so you never know how weird this movie's going to get. Yeah. So, but it looks really weird. Yeah. So
and then there's the scenes where like you see him writing in that notebook, and it's the writing's not contained. Like you can tell,
gets frantic at the end. Yeah.
He has what looks like a couple breakdowns in. Where he's sort of only partially dressed, and so you don't know what that's about. If that's in a hospital or in his room or something like that, and then he gets hit on the subway and sort of starts to lose it there.
You hear the Joker laugh in that comedy club, real brief, and then you see it kind of again in the subway. Yeah, and then he gets his ass kicked in the subway again. The first one was the whole when they hit him with the kids, sign, kind of
take a sign, right?
Take a sign. They hit him with it. Sorry, spoiler alert for a trailer. Just watch it, damn it. Pause this, go watch it, and come back. It's a good trailer. I mean, they sold me. They should sell you. The trailer sold that like descent, like how this is how my mother raised me, and this is how I'm supposed to be, and it showed you that breakdown fast, and then you don't know what he does within that trailer, but
you're not exactly sure where the actual psychotic break happens. No. There's a lot of messed up stuff. Yeah, you're not sure what's the one thing that puts him over the edge.
So there's so much more in this movie that's gonna have. Because I have a feeling
you don't see what he does, right?
Yeah, like when he's in that elevator and you see like the dude on the gurney like losing his shit. That's in Arkham, obviously. I think he's going to see his mother. Yeah, maybe. I think his mother. I think it's in what they're implying is it's an inherited psychological thing. Yeah, and I think So this take of the Joker is like it's inherited from his mother or whatever. So I think he's going to see her. After that, you start to see you obviously see something in the trailer. He does something. He's got a gun and this and that, whatever. As it starts to grow more into like you see him in the purple suit and this and that, but you see the TV and the guy on the TV saying, who does this, hiding behind a mask, whatever. That's Thomas Wayne.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah. It's because again, this is from another area I was reading and listening to. That they went back and they looked at the IMDb and tried to figure all this shit out. So they figured out the actor and whatever. So that's Thomas Wayne on there. So apparently he's got something to do with Thomas Wayne in this movie. And from what I heard was that one shot of him reaching through the fence to that kid, that's Bruce Wayne. Wow. Yeah. Like he's messing with him. So my brother-in-law and I were talking about it via text, and he again, he's all about it, and now again, I'm more sold on it, and I want to watch it, I want to see it. So, anytime you can sell me on something, of course, I'm going to start speculating, right? So he said something, and my phone's way over there. I'm not going to try to dig through my text now, but he was talking about how much he was looking forward to it, and how if it would tie into any of the Batman stuff and whatever. or it was just going to straight be Joker. And I said, well, supposedly the kid in that trailer is Bruce. I said, what if every other Batman movie you've seen, right? You see early on, even in Batman vs. Superman, just in flashbacks. So they did it right there because you didn't have to see it again. But you always see the murder of the Waynes, right? What if this movie ends with Joaquin Phoenix's Joker murdering the Waynes? Like, that's one of the end scenes.
Yeah.
That could be pretty cool.
That could,
because I know all right, the only time they ever tied those two together was in the 89 Batman.
Correct, that's what I was about to say.
Right, yeah. So it was Jack Napier, so it was before he was the Joker. But if this is going to be an Elseworlds tale, okay, maybe he becomes the Joker, or that's like his last thing before he fully becomes the Joker, or whatever.
Right.
But what if they end it with him murdering them in the alleyway? That would be friggin' amazing.
So that the psychotic then has something to do with the creation of what will be the one who sort of hunts him down and is sort of psychotic himself. Yeah, so it would kind of basically, it ties it back to the 89 Batman, where it was like the whole, I made you, you made me first. Yeah. And, that whole joke where, Jack Nicholson's like, well, you say I made you, but it would actually tie it in, for their version of it, it would tie it in pretty cool. Yeah. So I thought that might be cool, but I don't think they're going to do it, but it would be kind of cool. The only other rumor I saw was that speculation was, what if this is a prequel to the Matt Reeves Batman in 2021? Could be. That would be not a bad launching off point. You'd have to take up in that movie some part of this, set forward several years, right? Because if Bruce Wayne's a kid in this movie, then you have to fast forward. Yeah. Well, and then that would make the Joker too old. There you go. That would be my problem, because good as an actor as Joaquin Phoenix is, it's already been established just looking at the trailers, he's older. So where, all right, comics, I don't remember any definitive anything between, age difference between the two of them, but they're close in age as far as, comics go. But of course, they stay 20 for. I was going to say they're eternally 25. Yeah. So, still though, if you're going to see Bruce Wayne in this trailer, or in this movie, or you're going to see Thomas Wayne in this movie, I don't think if you're going to have somewhere in his 20s Batman in the Matt Reeves one, there's no way this is that Joker. Right. That puts him in his 50s. Yeah. So I think, we can kind of debunk that one. I don't know what Joker I want to see at that point. I kind of like to see a mesh of some of them. Yeah. I'd really love, as much as I hate saying it, still to this point, until we watch this movie, to this point, my favorite Joker is the Heath Ledger one. Just because of that modern take and whatever. So obviously we've kind of morphed into the Batman now. I think so. To put the Joker movie behind us, I think we're both looking forward to it. Yeah. We're gonna see. Again, hey, look, it doesn't take much to win me over. Typically you show up at my house with a 12-pack and. But no, again, I always say, if you show me something good, I give it a shot. And it didn't take a lot to win me over on this one. I'm willing to give it a shot. I know where it sits, and we'll see how it goes from here. Yeah. But I'm rooting for it. So, like I do anything, I root for it. So I hope it does well. Yeah, I think the next thing, sort of moving a little bit forward in the DC universe, a better trailer that shows me a little bit more of Birds of Prey. That's the next thing that I'm kind of on the lookout for. Is because all it was a bunch of flashes of costumes. Yeah. Which, hey, look good. But anytime you show me Harley Quinn running around the screen, you got my attention. Right. But, so you got that. I hope that does something. I don't know what to expect out of that. But that goes back into that whole, I don't know what they're trying to do. Because you go into our conversation with Shazam and all the
callbacks to the other movies and the other characters. That are you trying to kind of still tie this together? And if you do it the right way, if you just kind of loosely tie it all together, you can say somewhere around 2021, 2022, you can firm it back up into another Justice League movie if you do it right. You know, it's going to take us a couple of years to get there, but just take your time, do what you got to do, and you can get there. Right now, it looks like that might be where they're leaning, kind of like, okay, Shazam knows about Batman, and you know they all talk like Aquaman referred to whatever, so maybe, but it leads us into Batman. I haven't seen anything on this since we talked about it. I mean, nothing at all. So I'm hoping, again, I just hope for a good story. Show me the detective. Give me a good actor that's going to last. I want to see you grow into a universe. So give me an actor that's going to grow into a trilogy plus anywhere between 2 to 5 movies.
That's not asking much. You know? That's not asking much in Hollywood. Given sort of what happens.
It could be a cameo here, like he did. Affleck did in Suicide Squad. That counts. You know, so and so appears in Avengers for 5 minutes. Okay, that counts. Right. Whatever. You know, give me an actor that can do, like you said. I'm still sold on Zac Efron. Give me a Zac Efron that can come in here, show me Bruce Wayne and Batman, and show me a good story about the detective. You know, he learned how to be a detective and a fighter. Give me that story, and then grow from there. It could be much like Batman Begins. You don't have to give me any. You can give me hints of some of the more out there aspects of Gotham City, like your Killer Croc and your whoever. You can give me some of the more subtle real world stuff in the first one. But because if you want to build your regular universe, you kind of already maybe this falls like right before Shazam or whatever. If you want to kind of do it like a Captain Marvel-esque thing, it happened a few years before that. So because his Batarang is there, right? Okay. So Batman 2021 maybe falls before Shazam. Damn it! I'm still writing this for you people. Let it drop back a few years before Shazam, so he's not quite as old as Affleck, but he's out there doing his thing. And maybe you get a couple of references to. Don't give me the Joker right away. Just hold him, because it's not going to do anything until it's just going to piss people off. Give me like we said, a Riddler and Penguin, and then maybe like a nod to a Killer Croc. Like just a rumor or whatever, a couple of sightings or something. You can give us some sightings or some rumors into the more supernatural aspects of some of those people. Scarecrow, they did a good job with him in the Nolan series. You can kind of make him a little more comic-esque in this one because you've established that in your universe. Just kind of roll from there. And you can really massage a really good Batman story in 2021 into what you're establishing right now and make it a really big universe.
And you can do things the way they did in the Shazam movie, like there's going to be a kid in a Superman t-shirt, right? He's there. You see in a background of a TV somewhere that Superman just did something, or that Aquaman saved some people, or that Wonder Woman did a thing. They don't have to be characters in the movie. Things can be happening in the background, right? He goes to the Daily Planet's website and there's something about Superman or whatever.
Right, exactly. Okay, the Daily Planet's website. And again, now something some people had a problem with in Batman vs Superman, but I really didn't have a problem with, was the Metropolis and Gotham kind of being like so close
across the river from each other.
I didn't have much of a problem with that because I'm a New Yorker, so like New York and Jersey, kind of So I got the concept. You work in the city and you live in Jersey. A lot of people do that. So to me, it actually made more sense. But I also get the argument like, well, geez, the two of them are operating and now all of a sudden they see each other. So, if you work that into the story, you can still have them that close if you want to do, It worked for me on that aspect. But yeah, I think you can do a nice real world, like you said. If they were across the bay from each other, the Daily Planet might be the first website Bruce Wayne goes to.
Yeah.
For him, especially if he knows Superman is out there, and maybe he even already knows. Not like the old or the last movies that came out. Maybe he knows he's out there and he's actually a good guy. And he's just not. He just kind of keeps tabs on him. Because that's who Batman is. Just something. He's got a file on him. Whatever. And he's got a file on a bunch of different people, and that also gives you. Similar to your Batman vs Superman, it gives you your opening to other movies in the future too. Because if you got Batman in 2021 in the cave doing research, he's in there. Say he's trying to figure out how to fight Penguin and Riddler. That's who I'm stuck on right now, right, for this story. But within his database, you see an open screen, and he's looking at like the photo from Wonder Woman, right? So you do nods like that. You do something with like the Green Lantern or a couple of green lights that have been routinely flying around, whatever. You do something on that screen that tells you there's a bigger universe out there. You can still come back to this combined universe and work what you have already into this. Yeah. I think, So, okay, so outside of Batman that we have nothing with speculation on, but we just rambled for 10 minutes, or I rambled for 10 minutes because I'm excited. Because damn it, I love Batman. I want to see you do it right. All right, that's that one. There's only two more things I got, and then I'm done because you gotta go home. One is, I think in about a week from now or so, Game of Thrones final season comes out. Do you watch Game of Thrones at all?
So I watched season 1. I got into season 2. We had Coleman. I stopped.
You have missed out on so much.
Yeah, I know. I'm so far behind, and I'm so far behind, I don't think I'm going to catch up. I'm certainly not going to catch up by this time next week.
No.
When it starts. So it will be on my list of when I get time, because I still am behind on Breaking Bad and Walking Dead and some other things that I just, The Wire, really good television that I need to catch up on.
Okay. Well, let's see. So without spoiling anything, when I say Heather and I sit down to watch TV together, we try to find shows that we'll watch together, and otherwise I really don't watch too much TV. That's one of the ones it's bam, we're watching Game of Thrones.
Yeah. See, so my issue with this is that's not a show my wife will watch. Nor will she watch Breaking Bad or The Walking Dead, which is why I'm so far behind on them, because I've got to find a time that she's asleep, my kids are asleep, no one's around, so that's when I would have time to watch these shows.
All right, so what Paul's saying is we have to figure out a way to record this show on a different night so that we can also watch shows that he can't watch.
Right.
All right, cool. This is one that Heather and I are both dying for. And if you go to Facebook and look up Happily Ever Crafting, my wife's crafting store, she's made, you've seen the
Game
those
of Thrones?
Are
really cool.
Yeah, she's made a couple of Game of Thrones tumblers, and they're dragon scale, and they change colors, and they're really cool. They're a big hit with a few of our friends. She's gotten about 3 or 4 orders on them already. So hopefully, she's gotten them all done for them. I don't know if anybody else is going to try to get one before. That one takes a little bit of time because she individually lays each scale.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a pain in the ass, but she loves it. When she gets done with every one of them, she's happy. So she made tumblers for Game of Thrones. So excitedly, we are looking forward to the final season. Also, kind of
sad that it's
yeah. Damn, this is one of those epic shows. But then I look to all the stuff that you and I talk about that I'm like, oh well, okay, like Disney streaming. You got the same guys that made Game of Thrones are going to make a Star Wars show. Oh shit, okay. Now we're going over Republic or whatever.
Yeah.
So I still have stuff to watch, So I'm looking forward to seeing how it ends. I've got vague theories. I'm not going to say any of them now because you're not anywhere near caught up. But I've got some theories on what goes on. You have to watch this show, dude. It's just one of those ones that, like, every time you think, like, you're, yep, okay, I'm here, mind blown.
Right.
Right, like, I'll give you a perfect example. Season 1, when you watched, right? When I first watched it, because I was a few seasons behind. This was back when I was in the Navy, and I was on a deployment, and we used to trade seasons on hard drives to each other so we could watch them on our off time.
Mm-hmm.
And a buddy of mine was like, "Have you watched Game of Thrones?" I'm like, "No." "You out of your mind?" So he had like 3 seasons or whatever it was at the time. So he gave them to me. I watched season 1. And when I was watching season 1 with Ned Stark, right, when he gets taken, okay, that, spoiler alert for Game of Thrones, when he gets taken and when they cut his head off, up until that point, did you not think that this entire show was about him?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. It blew my friggin'
I'm
mind.
like, you're not going to, he's one of the main characters. How are we doing this?
Right.
Yeah.
At that moment, I was literally like, I will sell you everything I own for the rest of this show. Because I have no idea what's going on anymore. But you've invested me now. Because I'm like, holy shit, you will do anything. Yeah, that was the same moment you had. I was like, what the hell? Yeah. Really? You really killed him? Then there's a theory to that too. When you start watching more, we're gonna do a Game of Thrones recap when Paul finally catches up, and remind me, because I have to tell you the same theory that I had that other people have had about the whole Ned Stark thing. So we'll talk about that later. Okay. So yeah, so Game of Thrones is coming, and go to Happily Ever Crafting and peg my wife. And all right, wait, no,
don't do that. Don't do that.
Don't do that. Whatever.
Just send her
you
a message.
owe me money.
Just send her a message.
Hit her up. Yeah, it's not.
Buy a cup.
We don't poke on Facebook anymore
Don't
either. So don't do that. Send her a message and ask her for a cup. She'll make you a tumbler. And she'll get really mad that all of a sudden she got like 80. Well, never mind. There's 2 of you.
Yeah.
So there'll be like 2 more orders for Game of Thrones cups. All right, and then the last one would be Pet Sematary.
Yep.
Oh my God. All right.
You are super excited about this.
I'm ecstatic about this. So, damn. I don't even know how to start this. Because I also kind of got to pee.
Well, then it should go quick.
Yeah, well, thanks. All right, so Pet Sematary, obviously, you had the old school Stephen King. Stephen King is in a renaissance right now. Right, so you had It, and then they announced, okay, obviously It 2 is coming out, and then Pet Sematary is coming out. They kind of dropped the ball with the whole Dark Tower thing. But, side note, because Stephen King is in such a renaissance, apparently there's a Dark Tower series on one of these streaming services that we have to look into. There's going to be a series. Something else is happening with the Dark Tower. So I hold up my hope, because that's the opus. So I'm waiting. They announced the Pet Sematary remake, and I'm like, could be pretty good. It's one of the first few things that I actually posted on our Facebook page. Mm-hmm. Remember?
Yeah. It's one of the first things we talked about.
Yep. Me and my Sometimes Dead is Better, because I love Fred Gwynn. Well, they put John Lithgow in the Judd role, and I don't remember any of the other actors, and I know I've seen a few of them, but the trailer dropped, and I was friggin' hooked. And it took me a second to realize, by the time the second trailer came through, okay, slight spoiler for anyone who's either only never seen one of the new trailers, or like has only read the book or whatever. So, spoiler there. The new movie, the new trailer, shows. Have you seen the first one?
Yeah.
Okay. Have you ever read the book?
No.
Okay. The book is way creepier, and apparently this movie goes more toward the book as far as creepiness, but they make a very big deviation, and I think we spoke about this. Mm-hmm. It's not the kid, the baby Gage, that dies in this movie. It's the older girl Ellie, where in the first movie and the book it's Gage. Because of course, in the book you can just write, and it's there. What happened was, apparently the directors, and they were upfront about this when people realized after the trailer, like, wait, that's a little girl that's not right. And they said, yeah, because the problem was, in order to get the effect of King's writing into this storyline, it was hard to do it with a 4-year-old or a 3-year-old. It just, the acting wasn't there. And a lot of what they did with the original Pet Sematary was adult. So they decided to, all right, we're going to change this one thing, and it's not going to be the baby that dies. It's going to be the older girl. And then we're going to tell that story from there. Which, on one hand, I've always been one of those, don't change the main story. Right. Yeah, we had this argument about race and sex and whatever, Don't change it. But, like, for me, I wasn't too mad about this one. I mean, I would have loved to seen what they could do with nowadays with the real story. But I wasn't too mad about it because, one, I totally get what they say, with the older girl being able to portray the horror and whatever, as far as this, instead of this little kid. And two, one of the few scenes that I can tell you off of one hand that screw me up is that first Pet Sematary movie when he runs out into the road and you see that little shoe. That gets to me. I can't watch that scene. So I said it before when we talked about this. I said I've already choked myself up to I'm gonna have to get through this scene. So now I don't have to. Right. So I'm good with that. I'll still feel bad that this little girl is dead, but you're not killing like a toddler. Right. So I'm kind of mentally I'm okay.
You're okay with some child death.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah, I think I just admitted something. So so keep your older kids away, I guess. I don't know. Sorry.
Oh, that took a bad turn.
Hey, thanks. That got dark. Kill the older ones, leave the little ones. Right. So yeah. I'm really looking forward to this, and my daughter wants to see it. In fact, she brought it up right before we came out here. We want to see Pet Sematary next week because it just opened, and I haven't seen what it's done yet, but I'm hoping it's good. It literally just opens like this week, so my daughter wants to see it. I'm gonna take her, daddy-daughter thing. She's 22, so she's old enough to go see it. Mentally, she's not old enough to go see it because the last time she tried to do this, we were in my living room and she said, "Can we watch the Evil Dead remake?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure," because I'm a horror guy, so I'll watch anything 5 times. Yeah, I literally, and I've said this on here too before. I turned that movie on, and she was on the other couch for me for about 15 minutes. And then I looked over and she was gone. So I'm probably about to pay money to watch this kid leave a theater. Right. But yeah. And she's 22. So you'd think she'd be able to hang, but she can't hang. So yeah, so that's it. So I'm looking forward to Pet Sematary. Hopefully by the time we record again, I'll have a review for Pet Sematary. And that's it. See, look, I kept you even longer than you thought you were. Bam. This one was an hour. Trailer talk. I made you mad. All right, so next time we already have a thing that we're going to record. Yep. And we'll play around with some trivia. I'll get some better trivia before we. Awesome. I know we talked about that before. So we'll do some some trivia, and some other stuff, and we'll have a good time. Sounds good. All right, good. You have a good trip, and hit us up on whatifgeeks@gmail.com.
Instagram, Facebook at whatifgeeks.
Twitter, and good night, Tony.
Yeah, good night, Mom.